Fun. Recording already?
Recording.
Do you want to count us in?
Okay. Hi. Welcome to Book Pop. I'm Jamie Anderson.
And I'm Molly Fish.
And we're a little off the rails today.
There's no rules.
There's no rules.
This is like the freewheeling vacation episode.
A little bit.
We have no tech director. We have no video.
We're free ranging.
Yeah. We're sitting in a different spot than we normally sit. We haven't seen each other in like 3 days, which is weird.
We don't really know what we're talking about today other than books.
I love it.
Me too.
Chaos episode.
Yes. That's perfect. How have you been? How was your Sunday?
My Sunday was lovely. So for context, I'm kind of on like a little staycation right now. JB's going to be covering the store for a few days. I'm trying to just like reset my life and not be at the store for a few days, which is probably really good for me. And I have to, of course, plan it out. I wasn't like just going to like lay in bed for 3 days. So I have set some little staycation goals. I want to do something like literally a Madison staycation, right? So I'm doing something unique every day that we haven't done before.
Oh my gosh, so fun.
And I'm forcing Carl to do it with me. Stuff that like, I'm not doing stuff that he would hate. It's just stuff that we just never find time to do that we always talk about doing or we never do. For example, yesterday, and some of them are really lame, where like, but maybe I'm like, it'll kickstart us to do it more, right?
Yeah.
So we played cribbage on our patio yesterday, which is one of my favorite things to do. We have not yet done it this year. So we like made Aperol spritzes, cribbage on the patio. Then we went to a cookout at our friend's house because it was their birthday. And then we went to Mint Mark, the new Mint Mark.
I'm so jealous.
Because that's a thing that like we would never really push ourselves to do, right? It's like a pricier restaurant.
Yeah. I have questions because I really want to go.
Oh my God.
What time did you go on Sunday?
We went at like 7:30.
Okay. How long was the wait? Because they're not doing reservations anymore.
Yes. It was like 30 minutes and then everybody cleared out and then like you could walk in and get a table at like 8:15. Okay. So we were like, if we had just come half an hour later, we would have been able to walk in. But we were there, I think, right at the peak where all the tables were full. And then we were sitting and like there were a lot of empty tables around us.
Yeah.
By 8:30. But it was perfect. I mean, we sat at the bar. There were seats at the bar.
Okay.
Because it's got a really big, beautiful new bar. I can't wait for you to go.
I am so excited.
The bathrooms alone, I was like, they have this futuristic, I don't know if you're going to want to cut this out of the pod. It's really weird to talk about somebody's bathroom, but this futuristic like hand thing on the sink where it's just one big bar, but then you put your hand in one place for water to come out and a different place for soap to come out and a different place for it to dry.
Fancy.
I was like, I've never seen anything like this. It's so fantastic, but it still fit into their like, tropical, like mid-century modern feel. It's so beautiful. The weather was so great last night. So they had big patio doors, like accordion to open.
Oh, nice.
So the patio just kind of feeds into the main restaurant.
I love that.
The huge kitchen you can like just see and you can like watch the executive chef, like, putting orders up on this really beautiful giant like station where people just come whisk it away. We were focused mostly on the food and we had quite a few. We tried like a bunch of different cocktails too, which was really good.
Okay. Do you want to tell me about everything or your favorite thing?
I mean, I want to tell you about everything and then maybe you can cut it down so that the people don't have to listen to everything. But I'm going to tell you about it anyway.
Yes.
Because there's no rules today with the podcast. The lavender gin and tonic.
Ooh.
Which was the most beautiful color purple. I can't even explain it.
Yes.
And it came in this like goblet. Stunning. That was one of my favorite drinks.
Okay.
So we can narrow that down.
Taking notes.
You're like looking around.
I need to remember this.
No, we were like talking to people at the cookout too, saying like, we're about to go to the new Mint Mark. And some people had already been. And so they were going like, get this. So, but then when we got there, we were like, well, you want to try what you want to try. But we tried like way too many dishes we ordered because, small plates. So and we like couldn't stop ordering them.
Well, and I also feel like I know the menu has expanded since they've moved, but I also feel like it's still pretty manageable where you can like order everything in it.
A little bit. Yeah. Well, we tried.
Yeah.
And then I was starting to fill up and I was like, I feel like we haven't eaten that much, but it's really like delicious, rich. Dense food. So I was like, I'm already getting kind of full. And then I had already like impulse ordered a second biscuit, the biscuits. Okay,
Yep.
they're my favorite thing.
Those are so dense
And we ate
delicious.
the first one, like it came out first. And then like we had it, and I was like, we're getting another one. So like we put in a couple more plates. I was like, I would like another biscuit, please. And they were like, perfect, amazing. And then by the time the last biscuit came, I was like, I had to take it home. I was like, I can't eat
What
another
a good
one.
thing to take home, though. I mean,
I finished it this morning for breakfast.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
Uh-huh.
It lasted really well through the night. I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Pop in the microwave for 20 seconds.
Delightful.
Still great. What were our favorites? Oh my God, everything was so good. The deviled egg. I know that we both love deviled eggs.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's just like a single, like 2 half eggs.
Yes.
But it was like the best little half egg I've ever had in my whole life.
Yum.
Just pop it in.
Yum.
It was super like salty. There was like roe on it.
Ooh.
And paprika, and it's hard to explain. I was like, why is it so much better? I don't understand.
Yeah. What's so
The
special?
main ingredient is still just an egg. How did they make it so good? They were out of the pierogies by the time we ordered. And I was very disappointed because it was like a beef and cheese and potato pierogi. And I wanted to try that really bad.
Yeah.
What else were
I feel like I need to give some backstory on the deviled eggs.
Oh, yeah. Do we, though? I told Carl this story last night when we were eating.
The first time me and you went out to dinner together, we went to the Old Fashioned, which is around the corner from the store.
Yep.
And Molly ordered the appetizer of deviled eggs. Turns out it's a dozen.
A dozen half eggs, so 6 whole eggs.
Oh my gosh.
For 2 people.
For 2 people. And we got them and we didn't even blink. We just started going at it.
Started popping them in.
We made
a challenge.
So far through that plate of deviled eggs before we tapped the shoulder of the guy sitting next to us and we're like, do you want some?
Please, God, help. Help us.
Oh, we did so good though.
Yeah.
Deviled eggs, they're the best.
It's one of my favorite appetizers, hands down. Oh God, one of the other ones we got, and then by this time I couldn't even eat that much because I was so full, but it was so delicious. It was gnocchetti, so like tiny little gnocchis, and like a kind of spicy sausage, really light sauce, like
Yum.
really light ragu.
Was it with sweet
like
potato?
sauteed kale.
Oh, sauteed kale.
I mean, it might be a thing they might do like gnocchetti and other.
I was just trying to think of
dishes.
things that I've had there, but that
was
amazing.
Unbelievable. And that's part of their new expanded like pasta menu. So they have more
Okay.
like pasta stuff, and that's what the pierogi is in there. And then they have like a bigger like protein menu where you get like a $50 Wagyu beef plate, which we weren't going to do. And you don't even need to do because you get so much other stuff. We had the sausage, which was like a cheddar wurst with spetzel. Yum. Everything we had was it was amazing.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful place. Everyone was having a great time. It was beautiful weather. The staff was all really nice.
Was there a special occasion or just your staycation?
Staycation.
Yes.
So this is what I'm saying. That was our like special thing that we did because that's not something we would normally do. So it's kind of a special occasion. And every day this week. So then we also were like chatting during dinner about, I'm like, okay, what are we doing? Because I couldn't really figure out a way to go travel since I have stuff going on this week. So I can't like leave the city. But I can try to push myself to do more stuff in the city. So one of our goals is we're going to get on the water. Go paddle boarding, which is something that we would not normally do. We would normally like kayak or go on a pontoon.
Yeah.
I was like, I think we should do something different that we've never done, like go paddle boarding. Mm-hmm. So we're going to do that. Again, these are like lame things that a lot of people do like every weekend. And I'm like, but I want to push myself to do them.
It's funny because people who were traveling and visiting Madison came into the store yesterday and they're like, we're going to do a ghost tour of Madison, which I've never done.
I didn't even know we had those.
Yes, I've seen them. And like, I always thought it was so cool. Like there's lots of history in Madison, but I've never done the ghost tour. And I was so jealous. And I was like, that's just something like when you live in the city, you don't think to do unless somebody comes and visits and you like do something fun like that.
So I'm trying to treat it like I have a visitor or I'm like trying to show off the city, even though it's just us.
Yes.
But it makes it feel more special instead of just being like, oh, I'm not going to work for a couple of days and I'm just sitting at home.
Yes.
Okay. I also started Bookwise. I started a staycation book project, and that's also like making me excited because I've always wanted to read The Priory of the Orange Tree, which is one of the biggest books that we sell in the store. It's like a 900-page fantasy novel that I've heard nothing but rave reviews on from fantasy people. And it always was like, I want to wait till I have like a chunk of time. And I have one at home. And I looked at it. So Sunday morning, I woke up. I'm like, I have time to read this morning. What am I starting? This is like, I'm starting a new book. And I realized this was the perfect time to do it. And then I could read like 100 pages a day, 150 pages a day, get pretty far. So I'm really excited. That's my book project for my staycation. And I'm already loving it.
Okay. So you started it yesterday morning.
Yes. I'm 100 pages in. And it is everything I wanted it to be and more. And it's like, and in a sense it's so long, and there's another one, like a sequel or a prequel maybe. Okay. But I was like, it's like when you start a new show and you know there's like 5 seasons of it and you love it at the beginning and you're like, yes, I have so much content to look forward to. And you know it's going to be good because everyone says it's good. Yep. So I feel like I'm doing that. I'm really just like letting myself love Priory of the Orange Tree. It's just, you know, it's like tons of characters, which is probably why it's so long, but it's really complex, but it's so well built and it's moving. Like it's got great pacing, great world building, great character building. I'm so in for this.
What kind of fantasy is it?
It's like dragon-y, Westeros, almost like Game of Thrones-y, except much more approachable, more like medieval culture than Game of Thrones, but that's still like the similar world of like islands at war, and who have different gods and different beliefs, and some of them worship the dragons and some of them befriend the dragons, some of them think the dragons are the devil, and there's different kinds of dragons, and there's like a whole myth building of like how it started. It's so good. I'm loving it.
What did you finish before you started this one?
Good question. I finished Juneteenth, which I read as I said I would do. I read it like the week of Juneteenth. And it was really lovely and informative and nice and short. It's like 100 pages, 120 pages. And I love that it was very personal to this author who, fun fact, was one of the first Black students to integrate this like white school in her town in Texas growing up.
Wow.
And so she has this very personal history as a Black woman growing up in Texas of like, she was literally a pioneer, and so she has really amazing stories like that. And then also really smaller personal stories of her family members who, like, her mom was a teacher and then was, you know, helping her to go to a school that she didn't teach at, which is a crazy thing too.
Yeah.
And it was really great. I loved On Juneteenth. It was a nice little history lesson in terms of, it talked about the history of Black people in Texas, not just like the actual Galveston 1865 Juneteenth history, but a lot more comprehensively than I expected for such a small book. But it just kind of gave you these little vignettes of different characters, and it talked about the Alamo, talked about some of the native tribes that came into Texas and were settling there too, and their history. So it was pretty comprehensive and still well edited, and great little bite-sized history lesson.
Nice.
On Juneteenth by Annette Gordon Reed. That was really good. I also finished The Ministry of Time by Kayleigh Bradley. We think that's how you say her first name.
Yep.
Which, oh my God, I just put this together. Remember how the character in the book doesn't have a name? The lead character, and how she says it's like a Cambodian name that no one ever knows how to pronounce.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's what this is. Because the author is a Cambodian British author.
Oh.
Like the lead character.
Interesting.
That is interesting. Kayleigh Collian. I don't know.
Yeah. But you loved it.
I loved it. I loved Ministry of Time. It was so good. It was such a great mishmash of genres. It wasn't any one thing. It was like its own new thing, but very sci-fi. Like, it had cool technology.
Definitely at the end. It was just like, very dense in the sci-fi.
But then like political a little bit, talking about like climate change, and these people from the future are having these terrible resource wars because there's no more water, and everyone has to live in bunkers underground because the air is so polluted, and all that. And they're coming back to try and change the past that we're currently in to make it so that we do better and don't create their terrible future. And I was like, that's quite, that was a really great tie-in, because it wasn't banging you over the head with that.
Right.
It was kind of just this subtle background of, we're making bad choices, and we have to think about people in the future and how they're going to be affected, just like these people in the past that are brought forward into the present, you know, are looking back and thinking about how their lives affected the present. And anyway, I really liked it.
Yeah, it was really good. I read it a few months ago when it first came out. Or I listened to it actually.
Yes.
Because I got an advanced listener copy. I think the beginning of it was like so much character building and like getting to know each of the people who have traveled. And then it was interesting how who you think they are in the beginning changes at the end.
Totally.
So much.
Especially the lead guy character. And I feel like it's a really great development of him as a character and what he adapts to in modern life too.
Yeah.
And like what he picks up and then how he becomes like, you know, this, they want him to be a spy and they want him to do all this stuff because he's so adept at it. But then he's been kind of like playing both sides the whole time, which we can't get too spoilery, but
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was great.
It's a great one.
Great plot, great characters. Good writing too. Like I was into it the whole
And
time.
a great twist. And
Yes.
yeah.
I did not see that twist coming.
Nope. It was definitely like a at the end.
It's like a reach over and slap your partner who you're in bed with, like, oh my God. And they're like, I have no idea what you're talking about. But you're like, something important happened, but it's only to you.
To you. They have no idea. Oh, I relate so much to that.
They think you got like bit by a bug in the room or something. And you're like, no, it's the book.
My life has been changed forever.
Yeah. Something really important just happened in my life. And I was just sitting here. I feel like I've been talking forever. What have you been reading? How are you?
I'm good. I've gotten through a lot of books in the last couple of days.
Really?
Yeah.
What have you've been listening? And
I listened to 2 of them. Okay, so I listened to New York Times book podcast with the top 10 summer reads.
Yep.
And I was interested in very few of them.
Agreed.
Yeah. But the one that I was interested in was actually on Libro FM, and it was Horror Movie by Paul Tremblay. I listened to it.
You finished it?
I finished it. It's about this movie script. These young people are trying to make a movie. They cast for these roles, and they're putting it all together, but then things start to get creepy and out of hand and whatever. At the end of the film, there's some tragedies, and then it also goes into the future where they're like trying to remake this film because now it has this kind of cult following because of the traumatic events that happened on set and like the lore that eventually just grew around all these things that happened and the deaths that occurred from the original screenplay. You are learning about the story and what happened on the original set, but then there's this one character who's reprising his role in the new version of the film. And he's kind of the omnipresent, knows everything that happened, and he's like telling the story. Horror is like a tough genre for me. I don't know if I always get like, I kind of feel a lot of them fall short of like actually scaring you.
Or you can like feel them trying to scare you.
Yes.
Which takes me out of it. Like
Yes.
when I don't want it to feel like you're trying to manipulate my emotions like that. I want it to just happen.
Right. So listening to it, I think I got a little bit more of that than I would have if I was reading it.
Yeah, that'd be maybe creepier.
Yes. And it was also the format in which it was written. So it's third-party narrative, and then it's also his first-person perspective.
In the future or whatever.
In the past and the future.
Oh, I see.
And then you are also like getting this actual screenplay. So you're reading through exterior night. This is what's going on. And you're getting the script. So I really liked having the 2 different types of storytelling.
Yeah, that sounds really cool.
It was a lot of fun.
Did you get scared?
I did. Because she I can't spoil anything.
No, you can't. That might be one that I try.
It was a fun, fast-paced.
Yeah.
You know, it was different than the romance that I've been reading a lot of. And I had a lot of fun with it. And I also have like a background in film. So the elements of the script were super interesting to me. And it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I feel like that really checks boxes for you.
But then I had taken a book from the store back in February, and I finally finished it. Well, I finally started it and finished it. Sally Rooney Beautiful World, Where Are You?
Oh, that's right. You've been like trying to read that for a minute.
Yes. As soon as I picked it up, I couldn't put it down. I read it so fast.
Wow.
And I really think a lot of that has to do with the format that it was written, because it doesn't have, when it has dialogue, it doesn't go on to another line and have quotations and who said this and who said that. It is very much natural storytelling where several people are talking in one paragraph. It's not muddled at all. You can still tell who's talking, but it's just so much more natural. And when you're just reading it, it flows so easy. I think that's one reason why I've read it so fast.
I've heard that about Sally Rooney's writing.
It's the first Sally Rooney I've read, so it was my first introduction. But I'll pick it up again if that's how she writes, for sure.
I think she has a new one coming out this fall.
Interesting.
I think it's been a couple years since that was her most recent one.
Beautiful World, Where Are You follows 4 friends. They're all in Ireland, and it mainly takes place in like a small seaside village. Alice is a successful author, and she meets Felix on Tinder, and they don't really hit it off. It's like awkward and weird. And then she randomly invites him to go to Rome for some book readings and signings and stuff. It's awkward there. I don't know. It's like a little, like the relationship is a little cringe, but there's something there that's sparks, and it works, and it's weird, and it's fun. But then it's also her best friend and her long pining relationship for their other friend, Simon. And it's like how their relationship grows. But then at the end, they're going through the pandemic. So it's like 18 months pandemic, and you see like how much their relationships have accelerated in those 18 months. And there was just like a really fascinating end to the whole story.
Interesting. I wonder if that's why she hasn't been like writing as much. Like she's waiting for like a post-pandemic book.
Maybe.
Because she already did. It sounds like then she already did like a pandemic book.
Well, it does. I wouldn't say it's a pandemic book, because it's so much of it happens before the pandemic, and then you just it's like an 18 months lapse in like the last chapter.
Oh, interesting.
And then you get where they are.
That's cool. So she uses it as like a narrative device at the end. Oh.
And it kind of ties everything up together, but it also is like really relatable, because
totally
we're so
we
much
both
happened
had
to
accelerated relationships during the pandemic.
Girl.
It's a real thing.
It's a real thing.
It's a super relatable thing.
So yeah, I thought it was great. And then I started to try and read Miranda July's
All Fours, blowing up right now.
Yes. And I got, 30 pages into it, and I was just like, this isn't the time. I was really sick of hearing about women complaining about their relationships.
Yeah, that's fair. Maybe back to back with Sally Rooney is not.
Yeah. And it wasn't so much complaint. And not that I'm, against any of that, because I find that kind of narrative very cathartic in a lot of situations. But like, enough is enough sometimes. So I'm like, we're going to put All Fours down for a minute.
But you think you will
it.
like it. It's just like, it was too much.
It's just not the right time.
Yeah.
It's just not the right time.
Yeah.
So I picked up a fantasy.
Ooh, which one?
I did The Serpent and the Wings of Night.
Oh, yeah. I saw. I almost took this used book home because that's book 1, the hardcover book 1. Yep. I'm really interested. How is it so far?
It's really good.
Yeah.
So it's vampires, and it's a human who lives with the vampires, and the author is Carissa Borbent. So it's following the human who's taken like as a child. She's the lone survivor of a tragic event, and the head vampire takes her and like protects her and brings her to their world. She's competing with other vampires to survive this thing.
But she's a human, and she's a human. Vampires? Do vampires have like a lot of power in this?
They do. They have magic. They are stealthy. They're,
dang
vampires. So, but she's also, I don't know. I feel like there's something about her that's not human.
Sure, right. And like he protected her for a reason.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is the one that I needed to be reading right now.
Yep. That's a fun summer escapist
Yeah.
fantasy. I love fantasy in the summer. I don't know what it is. I love fantasy all the time. Because in the winter, it's great.
Yep. Cozy.
The summer, it's great.
Who needs a vacation when you just have fantasy books?
I know, exactly. I'm taking a vacation into the world of Priory of the Orange Tree right now.
I love it.
Well, that one sounds good. You'll have to tell me if you think I should read it.
I will.
Because I do love a romantasy. And like, that's the one thing is getting back into real epic fantasy where that's not,
the romance isn't the highlighting storyline.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I am into, and it's nice. It feels like I'm reading Lord of the Rings for the first time.
Yeah. Oh, fun.
Like that was the feeling I had like 2 chapters in, and then I got like chills all over my body where I'm like, yes, I can remember, the first read experience of things that you love. Like the first time I read certain Harry Potter books, like I remember where I was. Yeah. I remember who I was ignoring. So that I could read these books, and I'm getting that feeling for sure. So I feel like that's a good reading experience.
Yeah, super fun.
Yeah, summer reading in general, I feel like it's kind of a catch up time for me because I do read more. Like I want to be outside, but I don't play sports. So
I don't want to sweat. I just want to sit.
I just want to sit with a cocktail outside with my book all day, every day.
Yeah.
And I end up doing a lot more reading though, because when I'm inside in the winter, there's a lot of other stuff to do.
Yeah.
Outside, you can't watch TV. You can't play video games.
Or get distracted by laundry or dishes.
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't just start doing other things.
Yeah.
So I actually read a lot more in the summer. I realize when I'm not out doing things, and there's a lot more to do in the summer too, of like places to be. But I just bring your book with you. Like, who are we kidding? I always have my book. I'll say this about Priory of the Orange Tree, not a book you can take around in your purse.
It's huge.
It's like 3 inches thick. And so it will be staying home on my bedside, staying pristine, but I'll maybe swap in a different one that I can take around with me.
I had 4 books in my bag yesterday. So I feel like that's pretty equal to Priority of the Orange Tree.
I've been bringing a lot of books home recently, I have to say.
We've had a lot of good used books. And I also returned 2 books today.
Oh, nice.
So
I brought in like 5 that are actually just old books that I've had.
Yeah.
But I was trying to make room and I was like, it's
a real thing.
Yeah.
Just like feel better about all the books I'm bringing home.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because also a used copy of The Immortalist came through and I was like, I want to read that so bad.
You have to.
So I snagged that one up too.
Good job.
I also sold it yesterday to the people who were going on the ghost tour.
Oh, nice. A new copy?
Yes.
Kept the used one for yourself?
Yes.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
I already checked that one out when they came in. It was a done deal.
Keepers.
It was a done deal. But they had come in and they're like, actually, this is a good question for you because they wanted a story that took place in Madison, not necessarily a Madison author and not necessarily about somebody who lived in Madison but left Madison or like.
Ooh, yeah. We do have a couple. I mean, so the Anne Garvin that I read, I don't know about the one you read, but she is in Madison. I mean, she goes on a road trip, but they're at the beginning and the end, they're in Madison.
Same with the one I read.
Yep.
There's no coming back from this.
Yeah. So, and
they start in Madison.
I thought you said this would work also because they're like at St. Mary's Hospital. And I was like, that's right across the street from my house.
I know where that is.
I know. I love it. Yeah. It makes it so relatable.
It does.
So Anne Garvin's a good one.
Which I did suggest that, but it was like, I think they wanted something that was like more happening in Madison.
Some of these mysteries, like the Hannah Morrissey series and Casey Osborne, who's been in I Know What You did. Like, I think those are Milwaukee. I think that'd be a good follow up. I mean, there's not a ton, right? There's not a ton that take place in Madison.
Even if they are, I mean, they mention Madison.
Right. Or Real Life by Brandon Taylor takes place at UW-Madison. It's billed as like a Midwestern campus culture, but he is like a Black student. He's from Alabama, comes to University of Wisconsin-Madison. And I believe Brandon Taylor has his undergraduate from University of Wisconsin-Madison, but then went to, grad degree. He went to the Iowa Writers Workshop.
Oh, okay.
So then he also was in Iowa. So he's kind of like a Midwest transplant now
Yeah.
when he's here, but the story is very Midwestern.
Okay.
I don't know if it would be like, if they're looking for something light that takes place in Madison, this
Yeah.
is definitely like lit fic
Yeah.
with a lot of social commentary, but also like shortlisted for the Booker Prize in 2020. So not
Clearly-
too shabby.
Right. Clearly a good read.
Real Life by Brandon Taylor.
Takes
Great
place in
book.
Madison.
Takes place in Madison. And Garvin takes place in Madison. I'm sure there are more. Maybe that's a good, write us in. Tell us what books have big Madison plot lines. That'd be fun. Maybe we put a little display together.
Yeah. I would like to know.
I love thinking of we've talked about like the TBR as the wine cellar, and then you pick the wine that's right for the occasion and what you're in the mood for. It's like when you tried all fours and you were like, this isn't sitting right on my palate.
Yep. That's
Maybe
exactly what it was.
You'd blown out your palate for that flavor with the book before, and you had to like switch it up.
I did do like a literary binge too, and it was,
Yeah. Sally
starts to get
Rooney's
heavy
literary.
and-
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
You got to lighten it up sometimes.
Yeah.
So I have in my wine cellar / TBR shelf, I have some goals. I'm trying to like get it a little cleaned out for the summer, mostly so I can not feel bad about all the books I bring home. But my thought is I'm going to like really prioritize the things that I want to read from my TBR shelf. And then I'm going to take a hard look at the things that I didn't put in the really want to read pile and be like, is this something that should be rehomed? Because if I haven't read it and there's other stuff that I really want to read, I'm probably not going to get to the stuff I don't really want to actually read. Like, it's just, you got to make hard choices sometimes.
Yeah.
And the shelf is too full.
yeah. I was wondering how many you have on there. Do you have a number? I'm going to count mine right now.
Okay, we can count. Oh, it's a round number.
Oh, yeah? I'm going to guess.
Go ahead.
Is it 50?
It's exactly 50.
I have 33 on mine,
My God.
which
Sounds like a lot, but then I have 50
I'm like 33 is super manageable.
compared to 50. It was 51, except there's a big Pryor the Orange Tree sized hole on the top shelf.
It's huge.
It's so big.
Oh, that's great. Well, I have some Jane Austen that's pretty thick on mine.
Oh, there's definitely a few things that are like, they're just there because technically I have not read that book and it is in my home. So it needs to be on my TBR shelf.
Yeah, but you don't know if you'll...
But it's just like a thing that I have something on here that I read when I was in middle school and it was way too early, but I know I loved and I wanted to revisit. And I'll just tell you what it is because it was a Madison author, Margaret George, The Memoirs of Cleopatra. It is also like 3 inches thick. And I was obsessed with Cleopatra in middle school. And so I found that book at my parents' house and I was like, I'm going to read this. Because I was like reading Sir Arthur Conan Doyle and like other fat, old timey books. And this is actually like very much more like historical fiction, plot driven. So it is historical fiction. It's not like, a history book.
Yeah.
But it is really dense. And so when I think this is my parents' copy and they were like cleaning out their shelves to bring in used books to sell at the bookstore.
Yeah.
And they had that there and I was like,
you're like emotionally attached. You're not letting it go.
I just took it.
Yeah.
I was like, no,
that's mine.
I can't sell that. So, but that's on the shelf, right?
Yeah.
So like there's things that aren't like, it's not I'm urgent that I read them. It's just a thing that I'm keeping that I would like to reread. But
yeah. I have several of those, but they're not on my TBR shelf.
See, and maybe that's part of my I'm going to get a new bookshelf for my living room and maybe I'll rework some of those into it and pull it off of my like urgent TBR shelf.
These are ones like I'm excited.
You're 33. You're excited about all of them.
Yes.
Nothing you can cull.
Nope.
I have the entire Elena Ferrante Neapolitan series. And I read the first one, as I think I've talked about, and I really liked it. And I was like, I really want to read the rest of them. But like, when am I going to do that?
Right.
But I have to keep them.
Right.
And they're all matching and pretty. It's like 4 more books, though. I was like, I feel like we're spoiling that. Like, people who bring in used books to us, we are the first customer.
Yes. Yes.
The first people who get to decide if they want to buy those books is us.
We appreciate them the most.
Yeah, we do.
Yes.
And it is sometimes hard to be like, oh, I'm going to go sell it.
I know.
Let that go to a customer and not be the one to buy it.
That beautiful Frankenstein, Mary Shelley.
I saw that.
Ugh.
and that person had a lot of really cool old
They had like an
compilations.
old, yeah,
like a Shakespeare.
Shakespeare one. Yeah. There were some good ones. It's really hard not to just.
I'm going to take it home.
Yeah.
You pay them for it and then you immediately buy it.
So easy. Yeah. It's a tough one.
It's a problem. But then the more you do it, you get a little bit more like
I'll let this one go,
inoculized.
yeah.
Yeah. Like, okay, I can't take every book home.
Yeah.
Even though they're all beautiful. But
Yeah.
it's like a puppy parade coming in here and people are putting puppies in front of you and you have to buy the puppy and then resell it to someone else. And sometimes the puppy is too cute and you can't resell it.
I got to take it home.
I got to take it home. And then you got a house full of too many puppies. That's how I feel. It's a problem.
It is a problem. Puppies and books.
Books and puppies.
Books and
That's
puppies.
the best.
Okay. Do we want to go through what's on our TBR? And this is just physical books. This isn't like my audio books either.
Forget about it. I have, I mentioned a couple of mine. What's something on yours that you're excited about?
I have a lot that you have convinced me that I need to read.
Sold you on?
Yeah, it's a tough one. Like, okay, Chain Gang All Stars is on there.
Oh God, you have to read that.
It's been on there since I literally started working
Day
here.
one.
Yeah.
I was like, read this.
I snagged a copy and I was like, what else we got? Oh, Tomorrow just
Yep.
came out in paperback and
Yep.
I bought a copy of that
Yep.
because it's been my plan all along.
Yep.
4,000 Weeks, which I have read some of it, but it just sits there whenever I want to pick it up. Mm-hmm. Oh, I have Wayward by Amelia Hart.
Yep. That one looks good.
Witchy one.
Historical witches.
Yeah. The Fraud by Zadie Smith. I love Zadie Smith.
Heard good things about that.
Good Material by Dolly Alderton. Barbara Kingsover, Demon Copperhead.
Yes.
Whenever,
That's a tough one, though.
It is a tough one. See, like, you can't.
Some of these are tough. You got to be in the right mood.
Yeah. Salman Rushdie. Knife.
I have a Salman Rushdie. I bought a really cool version of the Satanic Verses because I was like, I want to know I want to know what the whole fatwa and all of his like stuff was about. And like the reason that he had an attempted assassination, like supposedly a lot of it was related to this book and what he wrote in this book. And I found a really cool version of it at the book deal one time.
Nice.
And so I bought it and then I don't, for $4 or whatever.
Nice.
And it's a cool hardcover. And you know how I love a hardcover.
Absolutely.
And it's from like the 80s or something. Like that's one of those where I don't feel urgency to read it, especially when it's an older thing. But then it's a problem because then when am I actually going to bump it up to the top of the list? Because there's a little more urgency to read recent things so then we can talk about them with customers, right?
Yes.
Where we're like, I want to be able to recommend it or not recommend it or just even explain it and sell it to people. I don't need to sell Satanic Verses.
Right.
So it's like, I don't know.
Speaking of the book deal and other indie bookstores, I went to Arcadia on Saturday.
You did?
Yeah. My day off.
What a great trip. By yourself?
No, me and Jacob. So
Fun.
Spring Green had their arts and crafts fair down Jefferson Street.
I love downtown Spring Green.
It was
It's
so fun.
cute.
And there were so many cool artists and I got to spend time with my kid and we stopped in there and it was super busy.
I bet it was.
We grabbed a coffee, which I love, cafe bookstore. It's delightful. It's crazy. There's so many people there.
Have you been there before?
No, it was my first time there.
They have the beautiful new flooring.
It is gorgeous.
Right?
It's like so bright in there.
I love Arcadia.
Yeah.
They're so sweet too. I've hung out with them. Before I opened, I went out there and like shadowed them for a day and they were just so accommodating and kind and helpful and they're just really nice people, all the people running it.
Yeah. Everybody working there was super delightful, even though there was so much going on.
I bet.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that as one of my staycation things is like, I haven't been to the new location of the book deal yet, which makes me sad. Mm-hmm. So maybe I should go check that out. It's like, that's a quick thing.
Yeah. I haven't been to Mystery to Me in a minute either.
I know it's been a little bit for me too. Cause like, when do we have time to go to other bookstores?
Right. We tried to do a little tour on a Monday and turns out
everybody's closed on Mondays, us included.
Bookstores. Right.
So we can't blame them.
No.
But we were like, oh, we probably should have looked into that sooner.
Yeah.
But now I'll have like a rainy Tuesday tomorrow, it looks like, where I could go to some bookstores.
Rainy days are the perfect days to be at the bookstore.
And you'll be here.
Yep.
I'll probably
I'm
stop
not mad
by.
about it.
Okay.
It'll probably be busy because everybody goes to the bookstore on a rainy day.
It's true. It might be busy, especially when there's visitors downtown. And then when it's raining, they don't have a lot else to do. So they kind of have to go.
There's been a lot of
stores.
a lot of students visiting campus this week.
Ooh, yeah.
Somebody came in yesterday and they're like, where should we go to eat? And I'm like, if you have come to visit campus and you don't go to Memorial Union Terrace, you have made a mistake.
Yeah. It's an important part of the culture for
Yeah.
UW for sure.
Yeah.
You got to try it.
I can offer 100 different restaurants that will be good meals, but you have to go there.
You have to get some ice cream.
Yeah.
And you have to drink beer on the terrace.
I don't think she was quite old enough to drink beer,
right.
but I was like,
sorry, prospective students.
yeah.
I am aging out of being able to tell when people are 21 versus 16. You know what I mean?
They're just all children.
It's all children
Yeah.
under 30
Yeah.
to me at this point.
Yeah.
So
I went to Old Fashioned for fish fry the other night, and somebody sat next to me who got carded, and I just thought, when was the last time I got carded?
girl, that Woodman's liquor checkout when you go to the self-check and they just hit approved.
Yep.
They see you from 20 feet away and they're like, I feel fine about this.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no hesitation whatsoever.
No, it's bad.
Stuart, I think I told you this. Stuart went to buy something at Quick Trip the other day, beer or whatever, and he got carded and he took off his sunglasses and showed his crow's feet. And the cashier was like, oh yeah, you're good. At least from, your nose down, you look really young.
I was gonna
That's
say,
something.
yeah, that's a nice. Got those sun lines up here though behind the sunglasses.
That was too funny.
I saw you were at Kokova too.
Oh my God.
Please explain.
So after we did Spring Green and the art fair, we got home and then I saw on my Instagram feed, Kokova was making these saffron.
Okay, so I should follow them
You need
because I
to-
was like, why do you always know when it's open and what the specials are? It's Instagram, right?
It's Instagram.
People, follow your local businesses on Instagram because
For
that is
real.
where we put stuff out. And
If you want to know what's
wanna know
happening
what's
right
happening.
away. So they had posted this saffron shake on their Instagram feed. And I texted it to Jacob, who was like, I was downstairs folding laundry or something. And I texted it to him. Yep. And he came downstairs and he was like, so are we going? I was like,
get in the car, Mom.
When you have teenage boys,
Yeah.
if they want to hang out with you,
Yeah.
we're going to go get the shake. Okay.
Yeah. And was it as gorgeous as it looks in the Instagram
It
film?
was so good and refreshing. It looks really heavy and like a milkshake, but it was light and refreshing and so delicious. They had whipped cream on the top and chocolate and vanilla and then chocolate syrup on the bottom and just
God, I miss milkshakes. It's my number one thing I wish I could eat.
gotta take that Lactaid.
I know.
I would die if I couldn't drink milk. No, not drinking milk, ice cream. It's ice cream.
Believe me.
It's all the dairy.
You wouldn't die. You'd just be really depressed for the rest of your life, which is where
I'm in
I'm
the
at.
bathroom all the time.
Yeah, alternating and being like, is it worth it? Maybe. Nope, it wasn't. It wasn't worth it.
And then next time you have the opportunity to have milkshake, you're like, it's worth it.
It's worth it. I know. Believe me. It's a constant struggle. I just can't even go. I
Yeah.
can't do that anymore. My Culver's trips have really cut down dramatically, for example. Because how do you go to Culver's and not get
Cheese
frozen
or
custard or yeah. No,
Yeah.
It's impossible.
Yeah. Oh,
I've found other vices. It's okay. Non-ice
Fair
cream
enough.
related vices. But I do miss it so much. A good milkshake. Oh my God, it's the best. It's the best.
we also stopped at, when we were in Spring Green, we went to Wandering Provisions and got sandwiches. And then right next door, they have the Frozen Local, which also has delicious ice cream. They
You
had,
got 2 ice cream places in a day?
I tell you,
I would podcasting.
I would die if I couldn't have ice cream. I would literally, what else is there to live for?
Your blood's 30% milkshake at this point.
Yes,
Oh my God.
it's true. But they had like a blue cheese and fig ice cream.
That sounds really gross to me.
I love blue cheese. I try to sample it because I don't think I could have had like an entire scoop of it.
Rich.
Because it is. It's rich and it's like, it's savory and salty but it was good.
Oh my God.
I ended up going with the chocolate rye brownie. It was very good. And then Jacob got a blueberry lemon pound cake one.
Yum.
So yeah, support all those local businesses.
Support local business. Support local ice cream.
Yes.
Damn.
That's what I do on my day off, my staycations. We just go eat ice cream.
It is really nice to have like, I guess I don't technically have today off because we're podcasting and I have a band rehearsal later and I have some work chores I should do this afternoon. But having just like the next 2 days off in a row feels very decadent to me. Because when I have one day off, I'm like, I just gotta like rest and like catch up on laundry and, you know, run an errand or whatever. And it doesn't feel like a day off when it's just one. I feel like you are much better at packing something into like a day off. You're like, we're going to go to Milwaukee and go to a great restaurant or Spring Green I'm very impressed with that. Because I need like a reset day before I can even think about going to do something.
My reset days are doing something, I feel like that's
okay.
And also Jacob cleans the house all the time.
Girl.
I don't know how I got lucky with that, but
yeah,
I don't have to
cuts down on chores.
When I come home, the dishes are normally done. The floor has been swept. The dogs have been let out. Between Jacob and Rowan, things are done.
All right.
So like, I don't want my kids to move out ever. I'm going to have to like hire a cleaning lady when they're gone. It's very sad to me. They were gone for like a week just after school let out. My house was just in shambles.
Such a weird problem to have.
Right?
Nobody else has this problem.
I feel blessed.
It's a great problem. Yeah. You did something right. You did something right, obviously.
Something worked out.
Yeah.
I cannot complain.
Well, I have a lot of chores that I have to catch up on. Childless millennial over here.
Yep.
But I am going to, so my treat is I'm going to tackle some chores that I wouldn't normally do. For example, cleaning out the garage, which is probably what I'm going to do when I get home from the gym.
I have seen your garage and it's like organized.
No, you have no idea. So it's really big. So it seems like it's fine and that there's room, but there's so much junk packed against the walls and into these shelves that does not need to be there. Mm-hmm. And we have been chipping away a little bit, but it's like you didn't even go back into the nest.
Okay.
Which is basically non-functional because it's not clean.
It's stuffed with
it's
things.
just, like I have a whole big tool bench back there that is just covered in junk that you can't use or access anything, and it's not organized. It makes me stressed out, and I just want to like get rid of a bunch of stuff. That's what I want to do as part of my staycation is I'm going to get rid of a bunch of stuff. We're going to do a trip to Goodwill, and we're going to do a trip to the like recycling plant garbage drop-off place to donate a bunch of things and dispose of some things, and it's going to feel really good.
Well, that's your staycation chore. So once you get that done, you can have...
Right. Then I'll go back to like, okay, then we're going to go paddleboarding and maybe we'll go to another restaurant that we would normally go to. I made a whole list.
Let's get out the list.
Well, we might have just been drunk at Mint Mark last night and brainstorming because one of the drinks we had this candied ginger, the penicillin, which is one of Carl's favorite drinks that he always gets. And it always comes with candied ginger and he doesn't like it. And I go like, nom, 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 candied ginger. So we were brainstorming like, how do you make candied stuff? Like we've never done that before. And then we were Googling it and it's like, this seems like we could candy some stuff. Should we candy things for my staycation? Should we make like candied like orange peel and ginger? But then now in the light of day, I'm like, ooh, that seems like a lot of work. But I wrote it on the list. It's on the list. Is to candy ginger ?
That's great.
It's actually a really sad list. Go for a bike ride is on my list. Because literally I have to put it on a list in order to get myself to go for a bike ride.
I feel that. Well,
and like last summer and fall, I was biking to work a lot and I just haven't been this year. Because I have more stuff going on like right after work or I'm not prioritizing biking. So I want to do that a little bit this summer. Feels like a list of summer goals that I like I'm trying to cram into a week where I don't have to work because I think that will make it easier to do these things when really I could just be doing them anyway. Like playing cribbage on the patio.
Like it's getting you into that whole summer vibe for that you can pull on for the rest of the summer.
That's true. That's how I'm going to use it.
I feel like a lot of those things, like if you just start doing them,
right, then it makes it easier
to keep doing them.
Yes, yeah, I agree.
And if you have the space and the time to start doing them, then
right, which I feel like I do today.
Yeah,
but I am still going to the gym. Because God knows I'll probably skip on Wednesday. Yeah. Because if I don't come to work on Wednesday, like
why?
How would I? Yeah.
That's fine.
But I'm going to the gym today. That's why I'm going today.
Nice.
Because I refuse to skip twice in a week.
I've not been good at the gym.
But you've been doing other stuff.
I've been very good at yoga.
Yes.
I've been very good at yoga.
That counts.
Yes. It's like right when I wake up in the morning, I have to do it right away or else I'll just like get lazy sipping my coffee and be like, I don't want to do yoga.
I kind of stopped doing my 1-a-day journal, but I didn't actually stop. I just skip for like 3 days at a time. And then I open it and go like, oh my God, it's been 3 days. And then I have to go back and be like, what was I doing?
Yeah. Is it that you just like forget to fill it out?
Yeah. Or it's like, I don't know. I'm like falling asleep on the couch or something for a while. And then I kind of migrate into bed and I'm not in a mindset to do it at night, which is normally when I do it. Mm-hmm. Or I'm like, drunk or cut that out. Definitely cut that out. We'll leave it at not in a mind state. I had too much to drink and all that rich food. And I was like, I have to lay down.
I'm going to bed.
I was feeling so like, this is it. It's my staycation. We're partying. And I was like, man, she's down.
Oh, funny.
So yeah, it was a good start to the weekend though.
It sounds like you had a great night though. So
it was a great night.
Yeah.
It was super fun.
Yeah.
Mint Mark was wonderful. You gotta go.
I know. I will.
Yeah. Any other like restaurants I should go to for my staycation?
For your staycation? Tempest is the one that I want to say because I haven't been there in a hot minute. And last time I went there, I got this lobster roll that was amazing.
Ooh, that would be really good.
Their seafood is so good.
Yes. I haven't been in Tempest in a long time either. That's a good one.
And I think they have a really nice patio. Mm-hmm. Last Wednesday, Stuart ended up working late and it was concerts on the square.
Right.
So I closed up the shop and then I walked over to Madison's.
Yep.
And I had a cocktail and an ahi tuna sandwich.
Ooh.
It was so good and like light. It was delicious. And then I just like listened to the concert up on the square and
I love it. Did you just like walk around or you were sitting outside at Madison? Do they have outside?
Yeah, they have a nice patio
nice.
right on the street.
Like King Street?
Yep. Yeah. So I just sat out there and then I walked around before I left and just listened to the music a little bit.
That's so nice.
It was nice. I'm going to try and next concert on the square, prepare, set out a blanket.
AKA 2 days from now?
Yeah, maybe.
I wonder what the weather's supposed to be like. Maybe we should do that.
That's a good question.
Maybe I should make Carl go to Concert Square because he normally would never want to do that.
That's a good staycation thing.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, we're also kind of like homebodies. Neither of us are super into like huge crowded events like that.
But I think like once you have your space,
yeah,
you lay down your blanket,
you make your little zone,
and chill out and listen to music.
Well, and ironically, the thing that we do like is classical music,
right? I was going to say,
which most people go and probably don't really care about the music, but we really do.
Well, especially if you like bike up or bus, like you don't have to worry about parking or anything like that. I have this chair that has like a strap on it that like I can bike and hang on to it if I'm going to be up here anyways. I've also been, since Jacob has gotten his license, I've also been making him drop me off and pick me up whenever, wherever I want.
Wherever. You have like a personal Uber.
Uh-huh. I'm taking full advantage of it. Yeah.
He wants to be out driving.
Yep. And also like he can use my car when I'm not using it.
Yeah.
Like, just make yourself available to pick me up when and where I need you to.
Everybody wins.
Yep. So I like walked down after I was at Madison's. I walked down Willie Street a little bit and I was like, come find me.
Yeah. Come find me.
Come find me.
You guys have the apps so he could like
we
just
have,
like sonar locate you versus
we share a location. So we just like came to my bubble and he found me.
Cute.
Yeah. It works out.
I like that.
My life is pretty sweet right now.
I know it sounds like it. Mine too.
Yeah.
We're having a good summer.
We're having a good summer. I'm very excited for you in the next 2 days.
I know. I'm really having fun. And like the fact that Carl was having fun
And
with
actually,
it too
it's 3
is great.
days because then
And the
Thursday, the bookstore's not open.
Yep.
And
I have a big show that night, so
Yeah.
then I won't do anything crazy that day. But yeah, I don't have to work. So I will do something.
Yeah.
If nothing else,
even
I
if
will
it's
read.
just reading on your patio, like that's
Yeah, exactly.
perfect.
Exactly. So yeah, I know it's a whole thing. I really went from I have to find somewhere to go or like go do something and like but then it wasn't working out because of all the other stuff I have going on in Madison to being like, no, I'm embracing staying in Madison. I am enjoying this opportunity to just like clean up my home and put a little more energy into things outside of the store because I put a lot of energy into the store.
Yeah.
Since it's opened over a year ago. But I can still like come visit the store, which is nice.
I expect you to. Nothing less. Enjoy your summer.
Yeah.
Just like we are.
I hope everyone listening out there has a great summer and can maybe you'll be inspired to do on your little staycation wherever you are. Go to a restaurant that you've been meaning to go to in your city. Probably a lot of the people listening are in Madison. Go to Mint Mark then.
Go to Mint Mark. Yeah.
Everybody go to Mint Mark. It was so fantastic.
And Kokova. Go get dessert across the street.
My God.
That seems like the perfect date.
And read some books.
Come to the bookstore.
Come
say
to the
hi.
bookstore. I'll come say hi to you too.
All right. See you at the bookstore.
Bye.
Bye.